Alright, usually I do a more thorough review for this type of video, but life's in a weird spot right now, so let me just do my best to introduce you to a game that's really surprised me without all of the fancy review structure. Magicraft is what you get when you combine Noita, Binding of Isaac, and probably a couple others too. It's a roguelike where you travel from room to room, blasting enemies with your spells, but just like in Noita, you can mix, match, and modify the spells that come out of your wand, and my god man, this game lets you get so creative and so overpowered. That's the big kicker for me, because otherwise this game wouldn't be nearly as appealing. I can't quite figure out why yet, but I feel like without the spellcrafting, this game might fall a little flat for me. It could be the pacing of the runs, the character movement, general in-run progression, or maybe it's all of them combined, but like I said, I'm not certain yet. I haven't put enough time into the game to be absolute on the negatives, but I am very impressed with the spellcrafting, and that alone separates Magicraft from the pack. I will literally spend minutes at a time sitting in stores and rooms just messing with different combinations of spells to find the most overpowered combo I can. I look back at my recording and go, how the fuck is it an hour long? It's because so much of that time is spent learning how insane I can make my spells. Essentially, you have the spells themselves, and then you have the spell boosts, modifiers, basically. You put the spell you want to use on the right of your wand, and then any modifier to the left of those spells to change or improve them. Something as simple as multi-shot and extra damage, or something a little bit more complex. As you progress in a run, you'll get wands with more space, so you can fit more spells and boosts, and yeah, I mean, it just snowballs from there. Even the wands themselves have their own unique effects. For example, load this wand up with the spells you want, and it'll fight for you. By the end of a run, hell, even halfway through a run, your spells will start to become fucking absurd, and if you get lucky, you'll be playing the game on easy mode. Just before starting to make this video, I completed hard mode with the most cheese shit I have ever seen. My spells would auto-aim on the enemies, but every spell I hit would refund the mana I just spent, so I would never run out of mana because my spells were always hitting the enemy, and then because of this I had so much more freedom to make my spell more powerful, and it was just incredible. On top of the fact that all my spell boosts were basically upgraded, but that's beside the point. Point is, hard difficulty was a walk in the park, but if you couldn't get to that level of overpowered, then wouldn't we be missing the point of these kinds of roguelikes? Making overpowered builds that destroy enemies and ruin frame rates is exactly why we play these kinds of games, and it just so happens to be what Magicraft excels at. So listen, bottom line with the spellcrafting is that it's awesome, and if it sounds like you'd be interested in that part of the game, then absolutely give it a shot for that. Otherwise, the game does feature meta progression and a light sprinkle of story. There's a few different elements of meta progression that you'll unlock as you progress through the game. These unlock new spells, new characters, wands, on top of some standard linear progression stuff. I don't really have any complaints here. The more valuable resources are dropped from bosses, so you do get nicely rewarded when you kill them. As I alluded to at the start, the actual in-run pace is something that I feel undecided on. Runs start out pretty slow in this game, at least in my experience. Thankfully, you can unlock the ability to skip a few rooms and get a 4-in-1 upgrade room instead, which definitely helps the pace. Maybe I'll come back to properly review this game after I've put more time into it, but for the spellcrafting alone, I would recommend at least having a look, and the game around that mechanic is definitely more competent than I've made out. I just hesitate selling you on parts that I'm not entirely sold on just yet. Very short video, I know, but life's in a weird spot, so if I can get stuff out like this, I'll absolutely try and do it, even if it doesn't meet the usual type of video I'd make. But yeah, just wanted to show you this one. Have a good day. See you later.